My husband's played Father Christmas for the infant school down the road every Christmas since the year he retired. And every year without fail, when he comes back home, he complains about it. It's either having his beard pulled off or some little tyke wiping their sticky fingers across his face. But every year he agrees to do it again.
I don't like to moan, but I'll have to give up playing Father Christmas at the school. Why? Because of the things those kids get up to. But I'd hate to let them down. I know how hard it is for them to find someone my age willing to dress up in that baggy old outfit. And that awful beard, well, I get a mouthful of hairs just talking to kids. Not to mention them heavy boots that make walking almost impossible. Oh, well, that sack full of presents is a joke. It's supposed to be laden down with gifts, but it weighs hardly anything, so when you pick it up, you nearly throw it up in the air. You think they get a new outfit? But no, they use the same one year in, year out.
When December comes around and he gets the inevitable phone call from the school, he stops being a grumpy old man and he sounds more like an excited little 10-year-old. He picks up the phone and laps up every word the headmistress says to him. He stands straight and proud and his eyes start to sparkle.
Hello? Yes, it's Joseph speaking. Oh, hello, Mrs. Croft. Hello. You want me to play Father Christmas again? Really? What, the children love me, or do they? Well, it's so kind of you to mention it. And the parents say what? That I'm the perfect Father Christmas. Yes. Yes, I've had plenty of practice. I must have done it for some years now. Has it really been that long? No, there's no need to go looking for anyone else. No. If you want me, I'd love to do it. Yes, I really would. Yes. Let me know when you need me. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mrs. Croft. Bye-bye. Well, I think I'm obliged to do it.
And then, when the conversation's over, he puts down the phone, composes himself, coughs and says, They want me to play Father Christmas again, as if it came as a surprise to me. Then he gets on with what he's doing, looks at me, raises an eyebrow and asks, What do you think, Mary, should I do it? But I know perfectly well he's already made his mind up.
I have to admit there is a certain joy in playing Father Christmas. Not that I like doing it, because I don't. But when I give the little ones their gift and see that sparkle in their eyes, the innocence, that infectious excitement, I don't know, it somehow grabs the old heartstrings, and then one of them gives me a kiss on the cheek. Well, the feeling is hard to describe, really.
When his sciatica got worse, he found it more and more difficult to get into the costume on his own, especially the baggy trousers and the huge boots, so I went with him to help him get dressed.
How Mary manages to help me get into the costume, I don't know, with her fingers. They're riddled with arthritis, much worse than my sciatica. Yet she always battles through the pain. But I know she enjoys doing it and always says how nice it is to receive the Christmas cards they make for us. The little message from each of them. It's so sweet.
Him and me would stand in their little boiler room, squeezed between the tank and the pipes that circled the white walls, and listening to the water pump going on and off so loudly you could hardly hear what we were saying to each other. And I'd help him into his costume. "Oh, hell, Joseph," I'd say, "you've got holes in your socks." And he'd tell me to stop nagging. But he'd cut me off and say, "For goodness sake, woman, no one will see them, will they?" He was right, of course, but I couldn't help worrying that one day something would happen and they'd be exposed for all to see. Oh, I'd be so embarrassed.
Who would have guessed that that sweet little girl in her pretty party dress, who tried to wrap her tiny arms around Santa's ample tummy and drop her little head on my chest so coyly, would have had the strength to pull off one of those heavy black boots? Afterwards, Mary pretended to tell me off about the socks. But I know she saw the funny side of it.
When we got home, Joseph had to confess that I was right about his holy socks. But I had to admit I was surprised at how quickly the little girl had been able to pull his big boot off. If I'd seen what she was going to do, I would have stopped her. He moaned about her behaviour, of course, but I knew that in 12 months' time he'd have forgotten all about it.
One year, towards the end, they bought Mary an elf costume to wear. Well, it was easy for her to put on, leaving plenty of time for her to help me get into mine. Well, once we all were ready, she sat on the stage in a chair next to mine as Santa's assistant. To be honest, making sure the right presents were given to the right children was a constant worry. But Mary had no problems with it and always made sure she handed me the right one. To be honest, she was much better with the children than me.
Last year, I'll never forget it, just before Christmas, Joseph had a heart attack and ended up in hospital. Oh, it scared me to death, I can tell you. He were only a hair's breadth away from meeting his maker, but, as the surgeon said, he's as tough as old boots and he was soon back on his feet again. The first thing he did when they sent him home was to ring the school to assure them that he was well enough to don his Father Christmas costume again.
I know I was supposed to take things easy and stay calm, but I swear if that young lad in the yellow football shirt ever decided again it was funny to knock my Father Christmas hat off, I won't give him his gift. I noticed the headmistress had a quiet word with him, and the little bugger came back, head held low, and said sorry. I didn't have the heart to tell him off, and I went out of my way to put a smile back on his face. I think he learned his lesson.
Joseph's finding it really hard now, and we both think it's time we gave it up. I had a word with Mrs. Croft. I know she genuinely enjoyed us playing our parts, as did all the staff, and the children, of course. But although we knew it were going to be difficult, we decided it was time to find someone else. Despite his moaning and groaning about how naughty the children could be, I knew Joseph would have preferred to go on doing it forever.
It's harder to bounce around and laugh like Santa when you're my age. I stumbled trying to climb the stairs onto the stage, and my hearing's so bad that I couldn't make out what the children were saying to me. Well, not even with my hearing aids on full volume. Nah. Mary's better off, her hearing is still as sharp as ever, but well, We both wear glasses now, and our old joints do ache a lot.
So I had a word with Mrs. Croft. I knew she wouldn't want to find someone else to do it, that Joseph was really suffering much more than me. And I knew despite all his moans and groans, he enjoyed being Father Christmas and didn't want to stop.
It suddenly dawned on me that I couldn't play Father Christmas anymore, and Mary agreed with me. I could tell their mistress was disappointed, but we both knew it would be the better if someone else took over from us. Oh, I must admit I was sad to stop, and I do miss it. Yes, I do miss it. But as Mary said, at least you won't have to put up with all those sticky little hands and runny noses anymore.
Last year we were invited along as honoured guests, and they sat us right at the front in chairs marked with our names, saved specially for us. Mind you, it were odd sitting with the parents watching someone else giving out the Christmas presents to the little ones.
The other thing about sitting with the parents was that although everyone knew Mary, none of the children recognised me. I said hello to one or two of them, but they answered as if they'd never seen me before. It did make me feel a little sad, and I do miss playing the part. Mind you, as I told Mary, no more naughty children to deal with.
I still get invited to the school for the Christmas party, but I don't go. Not now, not on my own. It's been a few years, and none of the children know who I am. Without Joseph, it's not the same. Last year, when he died, my daughter helped me sort out his things. We found some large boxes hidden on a shelf in the back of his shed in the garden. In them, he'd kept all the Christmas cards the kids had made for him, neatly tied with string and clearly marked with the year they were made. Oh, I do miss those happy times.